And we're ready to go, finally. After a long and hard-awaited pause, it seems like everything's now back in action. I'm not sure what happened, but what I am sure of is that we're here now. Pistol round underway as saw start on the CT side of Vertigo. Didn't actually get to see too much of it.
Yeah, that's actually going to be welcoming, right? We'll see what they can do with the CT side. And already Roman showing what he can do with a couple of opening picks here. Short-lived, though, potentially. Roy, he takes some liberties back in towards this B bomb site. They're going to aggress as well down towards ramp. They've already claimed a lot of this space, and they're simply going to post up here on this B bomb site, trying to get the coast lanes down. The flashes are well placed as well to keep things at bay. And Roy, he continues his dominant form.
Well, you can be as dominant as you want. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull this off, or maybe you can if your name is Fetch. Dude, every time I feel like this guy gets so close to the clutch is just inches away. It's not happening. The dualies are better for it at long range on 2 HP. He'll live to tell the tale. Probably denied clutch from Fnatic's T side. And you remember, I think on Overpass, it was a bit of a sloppy finish from them, I will say, giving up 6 rounds before they were finally able to close things out. Even, I believe, losing a 4-buy in the mix there. So, maybe there's just some general weaknesses to this T side at some points, and Saw could definitely abuse that.
There's no doubt about it, but that's still pretty threatening around here. You still have some of the elements that we were talking about, man. Last map for Fnatic, it was a real Roy and Fasher show, and they did show up in every last round, it felt like. So if they can keep that up, even if rounds don't go their way, you'd expect them to start winning some of them, as force buy off the back of that bomb plant is definitely going to take place.
No surprise, too. They have control of this site, but they don't. Where's the bomb right now? I can T-spawn. They still have to have somebody go get this. This could actually come to the undoing of them.
It's right down, I think, outside of the B stairs, so I don't know if it'll come calling here. Because Mezzi's able to easily claim that, and Basher continues to deliver, man. It's just these two players who never stop filling the feed. They're finally Basher going to get taken care of. And will that maybe lessen the commitment in towards this B side attempt here? It's going to be fast rotations from Saul on towards this A side here. We'll see if they can beat up to the punch, but in the meantime, everyone on Fnatic spreading themselves thin, looking for the big info play. And this could be a liability here on the man advantage.
I mean, I kind of like what they've got going for themselves now, because Pepsor can be the guy to make this info play, right? Now that he's cleared up the B site, you got to think of what the potential risk was. It's like, if he did end up dying, then he still knows mid is clear. Like, they still have to rotate all the way around to get back into the A bomb site, and Mezzi would have beat them there to get the bomb down. So the risk really was not outweighed by the reward. So Fnatic making the right play call in the mix, but they still have to close out the round again at 2-on-2 as Mezzi's now stuck in the middle of the bomb site. He doesn't even have a gun. Just trust Amir Deagle to try to get a couple of bait shots off on it. They fight together, and now at pole position's revealed. Roy has to try to win another 1v1 clutch for Fnatic, this time swinging out, taking the initiative, and it'll work. Better him than anybody else. This guy, like I said, he's woken up in the past couple of games. Fnatic are thankful for his resurgence.
Right now, they've got every last kill so far in this map, man. I didn't know if they'd be able to keep up the performance, but at least when we're only 2 rounds deep, they certainly seem to do so. Especially in the clutches when it matters the most. Roy and the impact rolls right there, closing out big time. And that's going to net them a pretty rough buy here over in the Sol camp. Not a lot to purchase into. And we did get to see a little something out of the CT side. It was a little bit lacking at the start, and it actually allowed for Complexity to maybe pull off a comeback potentially. User, so looks like he's getting in his signature position, but flushed into a deeper angle here as the Molly's going to keep him at bay.
It's mounted the ramp control with little to no, like, spotted back. You jerk somehow finds a kill on that 5-7. Dude, I remember the Complexity game. He was farming on the ramp side with that gun. So I guess, I mean, you're lucky that it does as little damage as it does. But still, you're at a bit of an awkward spot where a couple of these players can't really be the ones to go in first. Nikodos, with one of your only AKs, is stuck to 6 HP and even trapped in a corner. But, again, this is still probably Fnatic favored, just gonna get a bit dicey in the long run.
Ooh, a lot of damage up through the wall. Fasher can't control the Galil. And it will be capitalized on. Nice pick. But it's just equalization frags right now. Massive HP advantage with Nikodos on low HP, but the utility going to be tossed in towards this A bomb site. It's going to allow them for full site control here to contain. Numbers punched in, but it's all a fake here. Roy not so committed, but eventually will start to punch in the digits.
And that's all they needed, right? Because, again, there's no kits on this round. It was a force back. Saw, at this point, probably just going to be looking for a couple of kills, if not calling this up to a save. But Nicodemus is still low. They know somebody's dinked on the 5-7, and it's all unconfirmed so far. Rather, unconfirmed for the other players. And the tap should bait out the peak from one or two of the members, but the flash is perfectly placed for the double kill. Even now, knowing where Story's position lies, Roy, I don't think he's going to opt to give this AK anytime soon. Instead, just keep posted up on the angle. When he escapes, he will end up getting one tap straight to the graveyard. Fnatic, they take the lead back, and potentially more to come as Saw has to go down to an eco. Oh, no.
Oh, but no. Yeah, they have to go down to an eco. My question is, when are we going to start seeing Unconnected start buying him some weapons with this 60 grand?
Yeah, man, I mean, come on. SMH, man.
Spread the wealth.
Be a team player, brother.
And really holding on to that is mountain of cash, but the rest of the team, unfortunately, not so fortunate. No money to go around. And this is going to allow Fnatic to get another one of these patented hot starts that they know and love.
They've been getting unlucky all day, too. I feel like most of the tech pauses happen against them. But credit where it's due, man. They've been able to mount up the momentum. They've never really dropped it, even with these long, very hard-struck tech pauses amongst it. They always manage to stay on top of things, which is way harder than it might seem.
Yeah, it's actually so impressive because I feel like a lot of times when they are winning out these rounds, right, tech pauses are a tough punch to the gut when you have the momentum in your favor. And that's certainly the case right now. But a quick one. We're already back into the action here once again.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change much, though. I guess if there's anything to look forward to in that tech pause is the fact that Saw, it happens to them in a USP round. Instead of some massive gun round later on down the line that could determine the game, happens here, where it doesn't really matter all that much. It doesn't take a lot out of you, considering you're going into a freebie round for Fnatic anyway.
Yeah, I guess that is a good sign here when you know you're up against USPs. Probably not going to do too much damage, although they're in the right position. And head spotted there, Messi. He has absolutely no interest in turning the corner there, but he will let them turn the corner into his own AK. The exact ideal situation, but they will continue to walk into this. Stack some missed smokes as well here, and the side all aggression. I don't know if that AK is really retrievable. Nicodemus and Fasher have coverage. That's a quick and easy one there for Fnatic, despite one kill taking place.
More than they should have been getting, but end of the day, it is just Fnatic taking the round away from them. And now Saw, with rifles back in their back pockets, have to try to make a round out of this. Still missing the AWP. And if you remember, early on against Complexity, I believe it was the AWP that actually had the biggest presence for Saw, whether it was the T side or not. Still something to note that you want to get this guy on his weapon of choice early on. He was one of the stars earlier, and you're kind of going to need a full team effort in a game like this. Roy shows you exactly why, because even when the flash doesn't actually land what's supposed to, he still ends up walking away with a kill.
Yeah, I just can't believe he was able to get away with that. There's just no way there, but Story going to keep things actually contained as he goes down to 1 HP, just holding out on this B-bomb site. I think Saw are trying to get away with a whole lot of the antics. Or rather, Fnatic are trying to get away with a whole lot of the antics there, but Saw, they know better. They're not going to allow them to take that space for free, despite that opening pick looking so promising. So I'll make sure to recover. They hold their own.
Oh, okay. I was very scared. I think you're with me on that too, though. Shutdown, though, man. Saw a really big clockwork out of that round. Pauses keep springing back and forth, too. I mean, you shut him down pretty convincingly, so calling attack pause instantly after, I'm not too sure if it's a let that sink in kind of moment or what.
Whatever it is, it's trying to build up some momentum here for them, that's for sure. Trying to bring some energy into the Saw CT side early on so that they don't give away these big leads to Fnatic that they've been able to take versus some very tough competition. Now, that's a great way to do it, right? Get a nice and tidy round. Even a round that you lose the man advantage early on with, a quick 4v4. Oftentimes that can favor the T side, but they made it anything but favorable for Fnatic.
I love this play from Saw, though. Sitting so close to the ramp smoke, Roman. Balls of steel. Could get punished for it big time, but so far, it's actually going to bid them well if he sticks around, but he's left. Still need to get this info back, because right now, Fnatic have taken full mid control. They're using it to crunch into B. There's not much of a defense put up on the counteraction of it, and Just, he has nothing to say. Just too many places to look at once, and with that in mind, Fnatic take the round with these. Now it's about holding on the guns. Saw, you can't retake back into this, and I'm sure Fnatic, with the couple of players having cash like they do, you'd only imagine they try to take some weapons away.
That might be worth the effort here, but still, you want to establish your own foundation. They've just made a MAC 10 essentially double entry. Right there, what Mezzy did was he found the first kill, and then he lands a lot of damage onto the second. We're hit around the corner there. That B side comes collapsing to essentially what was one player, and one player alone, creating so much chaos. And Fnatic, I like the way that they're utilizing this mid control here. It's a rare avenue of approach that teams often, you know, try and avoid taking because it can be so risky, it can be so timing orientated, it can be hard to deal with on this T side and really work around. But confidence is key here for Fnatic apparently, and fully confident is Mezzy in the timing that he's just found.
They still don't have an AWP too. Have we seen an AWP this game? I don't think we have. Yeah, we're only 7 rounds in, but you'd think eventually somebody would crack through that barrier and be able to get the big green out and play and start slinging it around. But for Fnatic, there's been no reason to, because in the past couple of rounds, it's just straight up been bonuses and upgrading to the M4 where you don't really need to like, drop a perfectly good rifle for an AWP upgrade. And for Saw, they just simply can't afford it.
Yeah, especially with how promising we've seen Story be with the AWP. He would really like that, but caught on the aggression. U-Jerk, he's so solid in this position. He tries to line them all down, mow them down on the ramp side, but he's limited, unable to have too much success in the multi-kill department here. Roman going to take some initiative, but somehow misses his timing as well. I think he shot a couple of bullets into that hole right there, and that's not the way you wanted that one to go. Now they have to fade out of this A control here and give it up to the T's.
Fnatic, man, these site takes have leveled up a bit. Perhaps we're not even worrying about the push from Roman. I mean, it kind of costed his teammate to die, maybe putting a little too much emphasis on that side hall flank instead of just crunching it in. Now you're back to a 3-on-3 with even footing, and there's still a smoke to block out some of the CT's vision lines, but I mean, you got to start layering in some of these frags, man. You can spot them crossing all you want, but if you can't actually finish the kills, then what does it really matter? Pepsor in an unwinnable spot, and it's a perfect retake from Saw. Fnatic just caught split up amongst the entire site, and it's not something that's going to go unnamed.
Yeah, I think they just lacked a little bit of initiative right there and actually claiming that site. They didn't want to commit fully. They were unaware of the opportunity that they've let slip by, though, as well, so Fnatic hitting the brakes a little bit too much in that round is going to come costing them. They could have had that one in the bag. Big advantage for them. They were able to find some crispy trades and just hand out their way.
I wonder, man, what do Fnatic have to end this T side off with for it to be called or considered a success? Because, like, it's starting to become inconsistent. Saw are kind of starting to crack through the code. You can see in a lot of these rounds, whether they're close or not, like, they've got a read on the situation at most points. And they're not scared to go back in to find some map control. Justice just pretty much cleared out the entirety of the B steps. And while you've got a man crept back in, it's still a good indication that Saw know what's going on at this end of the map. So, Fnatic could very easily get stuck in this vortex that just goes downhill. And they're just kind of wasting utility right now.
I think one thing's certain, you do not want to give over too much of a CT lead here to Saul, because we've seen the dominance that they can show on this T side, the adaptations, the identification of weaknesses when they were playing up against complexity. So avoiding that reality is so important here. There's trades to be delivered here back in response. They're trying to wait out the side hole aggression, but low on HP there. Roy not going to be able to walk away with any more success.
Oh my lord, the perfect timing comes through and Roman's found another. Dude, Saw keep doing the same thing. It's just these out-of-pocket pushes from Fnatic. Like, you think, why is somebody dying on the other end of the map there? Why is just getting a kill on B? I mean, you're taking A, you're just giving them so many opportunities to steal this back. It feels like every single round Saw have won has been more on the fact that Fnatic just split up their individuals at every side of the map, even when the target is known, even when you know you're going into A and have an advantage. It's like, at that point, you might as well just cut the losses, go back and regroup with your team. It's just so much more worth it. And now this hero play that comes through from Nikados and co just goes completely unnoted.
Yeah, it's such a promising start, but all to fizzle out there in the finish. Definitely the right, maybe, problem identified though, right there. They're not necessarily grouping up. They're not going for those big site takes there. Send that Glock around the world. Roy gets tossed on over, but not a lot of success off that. Just a little bit of a distraction. Oh, no.
No.
He didn't land the jump, but eventually he will fall. Not Roy.
Maybe he make the jump, maybe not.
Round face. With smileys.
That's got to be some of the
occasion.
best ending in Counter-Strike in recent history.
I do love it. I cannot hate. It is, it's so fun every time the tweets come out.
Bro, Nikados,
Do we make playoffs?
Put that Red Bull down, bro. He is like shaking.
I get the blood pumping. Why not?
Why not?
And you can see this job site. Only one injury so far, but quite a brutal one.
Who else but Roy, though? Of course it had to be Roy.
Of course.
Nobody
If
else
anyone.
makes more sense. Of course, yeah. Well, finally the ops are brought out. I've just realized, even though it was there in the last round, but this might be the first time seeing it from the story. I'm not too sure. My memory is pretty bad, in all honesty. But the nade placement is spectacular off the rip, with Nikados already falling to 36 HP. Usually, ramp has been a strong suit for Fnatic, opening up the round with relative success. Quite the opposite here, as Nikados burns to a crisp inside of the smoke. U-Jerks won't let him get away for free, and now it's Fasher all alone, isolated in the 1v5. And a whip that's uncharacteristic will go a long way for Saw's campaign, up to 6 as they keep extending this lead and send Fnatic to another eco.
Great work being done right there. I like the late collapse there. It's something we haven't really seen. We've seen Saul put a lot of resources early on in the rounds to try and claim the ramp control early. We've seen them give up the control, but what I think is so common in the meta nowadays is to try and reclaim it in the mid round there, to try and take it after the utility starts to dwindle and after the fire starts to fade. And in that, Saul have a whole lot of success. They look very good doing so. I mean, the collapse was so well put together.
Yeah, man, we are kind of seeing on Silver display why Saw picked this map, why they love it so much. Well, they didn't necessarily pick it, but, I mean, it used to be like the map of Saw's pool. And while it still kind of is, the win rate shadows or rather distracts from that fact. And we're seeing why they're so comfy cozy on it. I believe they've taken some of the best teams in the world on this map, and they've honestly gone toe-to-toe with some pretty incredible opposition. So, like, they're getting tested. Maybe people thinking, like, there's some inconsistencies to abuse. I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah, Gavin, I can't say that I'm not impressed here, but like you had said, this is kind of a map that has long-standed been in the wheelhouse here of Saw. So it's no surprise that we're seeing the success here. It's also very welcome that we're off of Overpass here for anyone facing Fnatic. And it's a very small sample size, right? We're not playing those best of threes where we get to, realize where the strengths are. It does right now feel like Overpass is just such a dominant and strong map for Fnatic, and maybe we're seeing some of that lack of cohesion and some of the small issues in the substitutions, and maybe the lacking of that supportive element the steady hands that Crims can bring to this roster in affecting some of these other maps.
Oh, the irony. Steady hands. Get it? Hey, man, you said it, not me.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, unconnected out here being a ball hog.
Deathless.
That's true.
Also killless.
There's a running joke in the Smash community that DQ is the best player in the world and has never lost. Because DQ stands for disqualified.
Oh, yeah. Got that one. Unconnected. He's never lost a name duel.
That's true. This guy's farming.
Again with this late control here, Story. Probably feeling a whole lot more confident with some of the chances at aggression here. He's going to take some deep sight lines, but he has to worry about Nikodos. And I wonder if that barrel's sticking out wide enough for Nico to spot him. It is. Yeah, that's a freebie. Story. Got a little bit too lackadaisical, not expecting a peek on his right.
Counter smokes and Co come out, though, to try to defend off this A bomb site. Fnatic with this man advantage, kind of, I'd say, running out of alternatives, considering even though they do have a man up, Saw are still sussing out what's going on and aren't giving them the most amount of room to work with. In fact, still kind of keeping them limited to the right side of this A bomb site, and it's all just buying time. And I wonder, what are they trying to cook up here? Because this seems all intentional from Saw, to ensure that they can't be on the left side of the bomb site, to ensure they've got to be hiding on these, like, right-sided, sneaky-ish angles, like the headshot towards Crane, like side hall. They've still got the extra smoke to throw in for the retakes. Assisted Sneakados on the AWP, even tagged up in the side hall. Basic just wait and hold. Pepsor inside of the smoke, throwing some knives out, seeing if he can't try to stop a fake diffuse, or even now spamming him down. This smoke usually doesn't provide cover, and it won't again. Historically is the case. Fnatic show why. It's not the greatest smoke to throw, but still, Saw try to make it work. It's a good couple of kills on the retake, but Fnatic are finally back in the game of the round.
Yeah, nicely done right there. Great closer coming through from Pepsor as well, but still elements promising here for Saw. Just couldn't quite get that retake, all things considered. Roy Pepsor closing things out. Nikodos helping out as well. Very good work. This will give them some extra rounds in. I'm not exactly sure what we really need to see out of Fnatic to feel comfortable heading into the second half, right? Because we've seen kind of highs and lows of success here when it comes to the CT side. We didn't really see too much on Nuke out of them versus Complexity, but then immediately we talk about them versus Astralis, and well, they could only use a couple of T-side rounds if they wanted to make the job done.
Yeah, but still, this T-side is very lackluster from Fnatic. I mean, the previous game's credits, like, they don't really hold up here so far. And I don't know if that's to the credit or Saw, to the undoing of Fnatic, but this T-side's kind of just been a disaster for the most part. Not as consistent as they would have hoped or liked it to be. And whether you argue this map is T or CT-sided, it just kind of certainly feels like Saw have a leg up the entire way through.
Yeah, at least in the consistent success department, that is certainly the case here, but stringing things together could be quite nice if you're Fnatic. Met by a smoke here, met with some proactivity as well. I think they've just tucked a player inside of the ladder room here, who's soon going to be able to activate on a flank and catch players off guard here. So things becoming very, very interesting. Although Roy is going to take care of that flank. A big kill from them.
Hey, look, it's Marabella's knife. Anyway, still have that opening pick to try to work with coming into the B bomb site, though. Saw time and time again cracked this one open, and it looks like they might be knocking on the door to do it once more. He has been an absolute demon to deal with when they don't actually have mid control, when they can't crunch in upon him, when it is just this one-pronged approach. It's always worked out well for Saw, and they even stopped them from getting this bomb down. Now it's just about running through and denying it with no time left on the clock to actually get it punched in. They've got to stop him. 6 seconds left. There is no more time. Nikodos doesn't hit the op shot and still coming around the corner. They found the first. It's 1v1 for Story. Running out of bullets and running out of help. They both switch to the sidearms. It's a battle of pistols, and Story wins it. A P250 versus a Glock, and you know who's going to win it. Saw 8 rounds guaranteed, winning the half right alongside it. Fnatic, the troubles don't stop here.
Again, it's another one of these rounds where I feel like so much is going right there, but in the heat of the moment, some slight miscues from Fnatic taking place there. They're not able to pull it across the line. But, I mean, what can you do against some of these shots, some of these game plans here? U-jerks and Story continuing to deliver here. It's actually been a full team effort quite nicely. Uter is the only one standing a little bit behind, but no harm, no foul if you can keep up this good position.
Absolutely not. Honestly, I feel like Fnatic kind of need to change their pace, man. You think back to some of their other games, it's like one thing they do super spectacularly is they control the pace of the game. They always keep the opposition on their toes, and it never really feels like you can get a read on the pace they're playing with. But it's just been very slow, passive defaults when the rifles come out. And while obviously that's usually the right play to make, it's like, I talk to you about this all the time. The right play is only the right play until it becomes wrong because you've done it so many times. And at this point, it's like Saw are holding onto their utility. They're playing perfect defensive angles. They're not over-peaking and giving kills back to Fnatic. And they're creating enough chaos in the midst of the action to buy time for the rotations, to make it harder to crack into one of these sites.
Roy's putting his best foot forward right now, once again in another map in a row. Meteorus is on the flank here. I said he was the only one really yet to join the rest of his teammates. So maybe he can start to do that now with a big impact round. Can make a case for this retake here if he can find some quick kills, and he's done just that. Nikodos hits the deck, but now it's all on his shoulders, and he's down to 29 HP. He has such a long pathway in, and so probably wise to call this one off.
Yeah, it's the smart move to make, man. You're not really winning around like this. I mean, you got to give him credit for the first kill he found on the ramp flank. He shouldn't have got it to begin with. Even getting spammed down through the box, but somehow was able to land that shot. Just unfortunate. Story isn't able to achieve much from CT spawn around it. They could have easily crunched in the last player they found that frag. But instead, it's Fnatic still trying to stay competitive in this half. One away from the most competitive scoreline we can get. And I actually don't know if we've, all the way back to the beginning of the day, we saw an 8-7 score between Complexity and 500. Two different teams who have had two different destinies to get this far. It's impressive to still see them as competitive as can be.
So he is still trying to put up the fights here, and could get a nice handshake half here. That would be quite fitting for these two teams. 8-7 even as it gets here. Fnatic could just reach out and grab it. Waiting for Ujerk's common play of peeking out. I think he spots the leg there. He's going to do some damage. That's a warning shot right there. Keep him at bay here. But now Nikodos, he has to find a path out of this position.
He does, but he won't. Ujerk's, again, the king of ramp, decides to rule over it once more. They keep finding these man advantages. Saw have never really struggled in the opening kills department. They're going to even triple up on this, man. There's no way Roy gets out alive. And it's instantly left to the shoulders of Fasher and Pepzor, who are only really so long for this world. Just misses a crucial op shot, so there's leeway to be found up and in towards Beam Uterus. How can he find this kill? Well, just like that. Fairly easy. And now even looks to double down on the young star. The superstar stand-in. Fnatic can't be using him to the most effect in this round, and it seems like Vertigo's so far destined to go the way we've seen shades of both in this event so far.
We'll just have to wait and see what we get out of them at the end of the day. Hard to anticipate the situation next wielding, but a lot of utility, so we can easily anticipate what Saul's going for here. It's gonna be a meat grinder in the ramp, but again, they're just nailing the shots. They're nailing the opening picks here. And Nikodos left on an island all of a sudden. Very little support and a lot of utility heading his way soon.
And Smokes are still to bloom up with kills to boot alongside. This is almost a surefire Saw round at this point, looking for their free V10 double digits added up to already. The bomb's still yet to get down. Now they're just trying to deny it, even knifing inside of the smoke. They know Pepzor's around here. A couple of times he's tried to pull that cheeky maneuver off. None of them have they worked. This time, though, it's Fnatic on the back burner as they try to make this comeback a possibility. No kits, and Pepzor without armor, so it's really going to be all up to what Mezzy can do with the dualies. And so far, he doesn't seem to be taking too much of an initiative to come back up. Finally decides to peek in a side hole, and luckily for him, don't spot anything, but eventually, fortune might favor the bolt. Though Mezzy and Pepzor have just added up to a kill apiece. Story still sat around the sandbags, and they have to get on this diffuse. There is no kit in play right now. It's still not been picked back up. Pepzor trying to sit on the other side, facing the opposite direction. The Muterus won't let him get away with that. Another full house comes through on one of these pistols. And breaking news. 500 have confirmed their spot in playoffs with a 16-1 win over Astralis.
Oh, that's incredible stuff. Very nicely done from them, man. They came into this event. I just saw the HL TV article that got released of them knowing and feeling very confident in themselves. And for good reason, apparently, because they're doing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, with how they started off the day, it would have been criminal if they hadn't made it to at least tomorrow's stages. Crazy to think, too, that Fnatic honestly might not even be there if they can't win this game, right? There is still the outcome where Fnatic don't make playoffs, where Bad News Eagles upset them in this next game, barring Saw beat them here, and they end up missing out on the playoff stage. Playing like this, too, I mean, you gotta wonder of the possibility. Thankfully, at least for their case, they've saved up here, and that's something we've seen every now and then. Then I'd say about 50-50 when it comes to investments after losing pistols today, but now is really when they have to show up.
Yeah, you do not want to let Saul get away with a lot of space quickly, a lot of runway on this T side, because we've seen what they can do, the damage that's been done to teams before. But yeah, playoffs just got a whole lot more interesting. What are things going to look like? Who's going to be entering in? Chances to play spoiler, chances to sneak your way on through here. Fnatic claiming this win would mean a whole lot, and Roy knows it. Beautiful kill through the smoke. Gonna pluck him on out. And they want to take some more space off that. Again, polar opposite to what we've gotten out of Complexity, but Udric's capitalizing on that fact.
Well, they know Roy's over in the sandbags. Double nade honestly might take clean care of him on 1 HP. He lives. The molly. Honestly, I thought he was going to die to just the grenade being thrown. Pasha, though, he comes back in time to recoup a kill or two and maintain a small advantage, slight for Fnatic to work on. It's only coming down to health, nothing when it comes to actual manpower. But not for long. Muterus still claps right back with the headshot onto him around the crane side. Pet's already been swinging out from the middle of the bomb site. They'll need a little bit more than just the one, but it's still just a fighting chance that they're giving themselves. Though knowing both players around this A bomb site right now, it's just a distraction that Muterus is trying to create. Even moving back in through a smoke, Mezzi is understanding of what's going on right now, running all the way back and into the B bomb site to protect its aid. They haven't really committed anything yet.
Split up this defense 1-1, though, is what they've done by just buying out a little bit of time here. So with 30 seconds left, Saw have a couple of different avenues of approach that they can go. Doubling up, though, joining forces to walk up this B side here. If they make any noise, that'll commit Messi, but if they contact it, they could catch him on a game of timing here. He's actually fallen off and towards a very passive approach. More so worried about middle at the moment. We'll let them slide on in towards the B bomb site, but he does find the kill here. One more lies in around the corner, and it will be Mezzi to shut things down and to deny access.
Now, I realize I may have spoken too soon in the pregame because I said earlier BNE are eliminated. However, if I'm looking at this correctly, if Saw win here, there's a chance for them to make playoffs. Now, it's a very wonky and weird path. It requires a lot to happen, including a couple of things that are a bit unlikely. But here's the situation. Complexity over Astralis, both of those teams are going to end up with 3 wins. Or rather, one of them is. 500 have already secured their spot. The winner of Complexity Astralis secures their spot. Then there's still one up for grabs, in which if Bad News Eagles beat the Fnatic, who would then lose to Saw, they can take that last spot from them.
Every last team still in playoff contention in that case, so that makes things all the more interesting.
Or if Saw, win this game and win it against 500, there's still no world where BNE can get it. That's another thing that has to happen, which might not.
Right? I don't know if they've realized that 2 players have snuck on by. On towards the A bomb site they go here, and they're going to catch that completely off guard. Even in the transition outwards, Udric's going to collect a freebie. Roy needs to find a massive multi-kill, and he's only good for 1. And then he will fall. Roman stands tall on the bomb site as ever. And that's going to be the tide turner right there. I don't know if Fnatic even are interested in going back in for this round.
Honestly, considering the outcome, considering the situation that I've just described, yeah, I can't blame them. You are facing potentially against what's 4 rounds to throw this entire group stage into chaos, man. With, again, only the 1 team confirmed for playoffs, any mistake now is crucial. That spot's just narrowed down. Now you got to be biting at your fingernails a little bit. And now all of a sudden, Fnatic might just start to feel the pressure a little bit with a couple of guns thrown into the mix. You gotta wonder if they force buy or not. There's a argument to be made for both sides, and I assume that's what this timeout's gonna be for, right? Because you could have Messi drop an MP9, Roy could probably throw a bit of a weakened investment out onto the table. And, I mean, there's also a reason to do it, too. It's not just like you're force buying for the sense of winning the round, but if you do end up winning this, I mean, SAW are going to be put in a bit of a wonky spot. Story, you jerks, both of their money's not in the greatest spot. They can't afford the greatest of rebuys if they were to get shut down around like this, but safer of the two plays is definitely just to take the save here and play for the next round. But going forward, you're really only going to have, like, one more really good rifle to try to get yourselves back into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be some scary territory to be in there. Like you said, a loss rate now would mean Fnatic, their opportunities, their windows of opportunity could quickly close despite a couple of very impressive results here. And CT side has been slightly inconsistent to really trust in this being comfortable by any means. And I can't say anything but the opposite for SAW. They have shown consistent ability to do damage on this map on both sides of the coin. T and CT side, they have delivered in some of the tougher matchups here. They've come in ready to play.
I mean, imagine a world where 2 of the 3 teams are SAW and 500 making playoffs. In a group including Astralis, Fnatic, Complexity, Bad News Eagles. The first 2 teams to potentially confirm. That'd be nuts. Absurd, but we still have to get that far, man. The Pistol's putting in overtime right now as Roy's P250's clapped off the head of 2 of them on the mid crunch. It looks like this one's already wrapped up with a bow tie on it. Just the only thing left he can potentially say about this is a couple of measly bonus frags. At this point, the round's already Fnatic's to lose. He doesn't even have the bomb in his mitts. He's got to kill every single CT to win this round. You can't win it via post plant.
No way to get into this one. Certain death lies right around the corner here, and just not even going to attempt it. Does eventually fall. And that is a big bone being tossed your way right there. You gotta make sure that you continue the success right there. Beautiful stuff from Messi to open up proceedings on the hero rifle, but then this follow-up, Nikodas, Roy finding massive multi-kills right there, doubling up, allowing for SAW to walk right into the trap that they've assembled. And look where it leaves off SAW. Their chances limited on the buy here.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier on, where it's like if you just shut them down in one of these rounds and don't allow a bomb plant to come through the cracks, then all of a sudden SAW have to take a save, and it's still them up by 3 or 4 rounds, but every single one you get back counts right now if you're Fnatic.
Especially the kind of half buy rounds where you're really not wielding all that much other than a couple of saved rifles. Those are the best ones. Those are juicy. And the fact that they were able to do that in the previous is exactly what the doctor ordered to get Fnatic. Try and close this distance. Although I think that SAW have a game plan of their own. There's no utility, so you don't really like their odds. But what you do like is the space that Fnatic's giving them at the moment. Giving them a whole lot of ground here, only to be walking into the heat grinder over towards B, where Messi and Pepsar, they just delete their opportunities, their access points, and Messi really started to heat up here in this map as well.
Squeaky clean too, not a single HP of damage taken away from the bars of Fnatic. As perfect as they come on the eco win. Just a farming up of a round 2. That's big for Fnatic. Not only in the sense that, like, they don't lose any guns, but more so in the fact that they've now built themselves up a safety net. The bank of Fnatic really gets to start being built. And SAW are still kind of left in the Great Depression right now, where it's going to be one and done rounds for almost the rest of the game. This lead that they so fragilely built is not built on a very sturdy foundation.
They're able to start claiming some rounds once again. Start to rebuild that foundation to maintain that strong position. 5v5 though right now, as they did attempt a very similar play, a SAW-esque play, to try and reclaim ramp control with little success here. And look at this, man. Oh, so much spam being done, but will they expect this boost? They're still committed to it. They're hanging around, and Messi, he's able to jiggle it out. He's able to spot it before it comes too much punishment. He will get traded though quickly. He'll be sent down the 51st floor.
And still, we keep going 1 for 1 in the trade department, man. Pepsor, not aware of how close somebody's crapped. I think that's info that Muterus has been given. Walking back away, the flash might choreograph somebody having been walked up this close already. But where's the bomb going? It's got the opportunity to go to either side of its choosing still, maybe just waiting for a little bit of incentivization to go into one side or the other. But right now, Fnatic can be confident and hold on to their defenses. Up with the bomb on its back, still making its very dangerous, treacherous route up and into the A bomb site with only 30 seconds left to work with. Muterus is yet to actually fake this out. Pepsor, he might call a quick rotation though. Same thing goes for both sides. To Kin right now from Fnatic. Oh no, though they've given up a big kill. Muterus opens up a loophole into this site, even jumping around. Roy needs to find this kill on the generator, and he does. 11 seconds to go. There is no safety net to get the bomb down. Even pinning him over to the triple boxes. Just run away. There's no way they can win the round. Nikadas goes in the extra mile, though, and won't let him come anywhere close to the bomb site. Double digits for Fnatic. It's another buy going down the drain for Saw.
I can't believe that Roy just made that play, man. What on earth was that? He dives over the edge to save the day like an absolute hero. He certainly has his cape on right now. That is insanity right there. There's no wonder a couple accidents have happened in this game with him, because he takes those risks. He's willing to go for it to save the day, to give Fnatic that extra edge.
Yeah, and again, remember, this game, if Fnatic wins, secures them their playoff spot, destroys the hopes of Bad News Eagles. So those fellas are really hoping for Saw's succession right now, and might not be all happy days for Bad News Eagles if Saw can't actually capitalize on this lead they've built up. They've got, again, one more rifle before it subsides from them. This is going to be an eco round. They've actually been given a lot of room right now, going up and into B. Pepsor's got things under lock and key. It's a quick shut down from Fnatic. Not going to dilly-dally with it at all. And there it tumbles. One by stand between Fnatic and potentially taking their first lead of the entire map.
That'd be such a promising prospect. Like you said, man, again, when we're looking at playoffs here, it's Bad News Eagles that have put themselves in a position where they're really reliant on Saul's ability to close out this map. And that being the case, that's a position that no team ever wants to be in, because not only that, right? I mean, obviously you can try and, you know, get your revenge on the team that's denied you playoffs, but being going to be maybe a little bit demotivated in that last matchup, that last best of one, giving Fnatic again an extra edge. That's the way we're going to close out our day here after this map.
Remember, this is still technically the #1 spot up for grabs. That is, I think, I believe, a extra added precaution of if Saw win this game. I'm pretty sure that would lock 500 into the #1 spot, since the only teams that would be able to rival that are Complexity and Astralis, and they have the tiebreaker win over both of those teams and their round count. So the only one who can dethrone them from that top spot is Fnatic. And even then, it's, if I'm not mistaken, they still have to win both of their games. I don't know, it's a wonky road, but still, it's not possible if Fnatic lose. That's the bottom line.
Close this one out though, is Saw. So crucial here. Oh my god, Roy just caught no man's land right there. He's been feeling confident, but maybe in this occasion a little bit too confident, and Utrix is making sure to punish that. There's still a player on this elevated angle here. Flash spin goes in, but Utrix is claiming all the kills, and Story trades out Mezzy. Last man standing is Nikadas here, trying to have his impact, trying to make his presence known. Scope's been heard here. Story playing around the default box. There's no escape. There's no way out. Just going to burn him alive. And finally, after long last, Saw off Utrix Heroics is going to get the job done here for another round.
This is kind of crazy right now. Saw playing for their own playoff berth. Finally, some more pep in their step, showing you had to be worried considering how bad the outlook was at one point, even in recent memory, where Fnatic just kept winning and winning and winning and couldn't stop. Now it feels like they're sent straight back to reality, where they realize they are just humans at the end of the day, not something that's impenetrable. And Saw, they keep the pace up, they keep it fast, they keep it high, And it works. Ujerks again with an opening kill on ramp. He's been doing this on both sides of the coin. CT, T side, he has dominated this area of the map.
It's been his domain. Continues to show exactly what this guy's made of as well, man. It's a lot of low HP bars, so that's a silver lining that Fnatic can look forward to, but man advantage held on to Ujerk. They got to put an end to his damage, his threat.
Definitely have to, man. I mean, I've seen this guy work on less HP with less weaponry, so the fact that he's got a rifle is still got to be an alarm bell ringing off for you. Pepsor is even trapped into the side hall. They know he's stuck in here. They can just flash him off the angle even if you need it. Molly into the side and to deny the plan for the time being, even a spam to add up with it. It was the low HP bar who tried to get the digits punched in. So maybe there is still a world where Fnatic can contend for this round. They kind of need to. Else the money woes of Saw are no longer existent. Even starting to waste up their last bits of utility too. The only thing left for either one of these sides is a smoke grenade. Mezzi again just trying to deny this plant from coming through. The off shot does not.
Oh my god.
Fox. Mezzi's yet connected another. Still, they've got him pinned. This is a kill that's required for the success of the round, and Ujerks locks it in. Well, they're both so low, it won't matter against the op. On 1 HP, he lives, and Saw moved to 14.
That is unbelievable. Ujerk's continuing to show up and show out right now. 23 kills when these last 2 rounds were so necessary. He's been the guy to find the openings. He's forced Fnatic's hand for a 4th timeout. Last opportunity, at least at their own volition, to talk things over and get a chance to try and discuss the game plan. You can see talking things over here, trying to keep the spirits high. Fnatic, they know what's on the cards here.
I still think it's crazy how much of this group is up into contention right now, man. That's nuts. It'd be kind of poetic though if Fnatic ended up making playoffs and Complexity didn't. After Complexity for quite most of the day having the most dominant record, rather the most dominant game against Fnatic, yet still not making it in over them. And it could literally all be focused back down to that first map of the day, and it's still crazy to me how that plays such a big role. You reverse the roles. Complexity, let's say they don't choke away a couple of those T or CT sided rounds. Then, I mean, you'd imagine where that would leave them, right? Instead of being 2-2 fighting for their lives, they would have already secured their spot in playoffs. Still not even the game we're thinking of, but it's just one of the butterfly effects that's happened in this game so far. The eco round looking a bit dicey right now for Saw. They need to have some of these riflers step up. The only one with HP left right now is Roman, and there he falls. It's up to the op and story. Stuck around the smoke. Fasher's got his name written up. 3 kills for the youngster himself. The so notable tier 2 farmer locks in 12 for Fnatic and keeps them alive.
And his domain right now, man. Fasher continuing to deliver here. Hero rifle held on to it. He gets everything, every last bit of money worth out of that one. Last kill straight through the smoke, making sure to close that one, give them no chances to clutch. Now look at the purchase here. Saw, they're going all in. No holds barred. They're going to try to close this one out with a force buy with Tech 9s in the hands of Ujerks, who's been so incredible. He's on the lacking weaponry here. You hate to see that.
Yeah.
For a player who's been lighting up the server and honestly delivering what's mattered the most in the high impact scenarios.
And if they don't end up winning this round, if it comes down to a close 1v1 where Ujerks could have changed the tides, you've got to be upset with some of the teammates who didn't give him that rifle. Obviously, look, you want to believe in yourself, but like knowing this guy, knowing how he's always the one to dig you out of the mud in these spots. Why doesn't he have a gun? Why isn't somebody stepping up and giving him the AK? And Mezzi shows it. Trades go equidistant on the B bomb site. Is it still potential for the retake? Fnatic gonna have to attempt it knowing a man's close to the generators. Roman swings out. It's a double coming back from Fnatic. And again, it might honestly come down to that 1 kill. If Story gives up his AK, gives it to somebody like Ujerks, he gets that kill on Mezzi. You don't have to worry about him finding a 2K. You've got this 5-on-3 advantage before the retake even gets thought up. And they're the ones on map point. But instead, Fnatic now go against Nico to tie this game up, to guarantee this goes 30 rounds, and to potentially give them their lock into playoffs.
Oh boy. We know what's on the line right now here, and so does Saw. They had opportunities. They had momentum, but soon it has slipped. And so has Story. Falling to the op of Nikodov's big start. As this lacking purchase is just not going to give them too much by any means here. They're going to try and group up towards mid. Maybe they can try and catch Pepsor off guard, but he has been very solid and sturdy on his anchoring. I'm playing his cards right, and that's a really well-placed molly. That's causing a lot of chaos here. That's forcing a lot of awkward positions, and he cannot fade out. Pepsor just forces him right into his arms.
The most unfortunate spread you can think of going against the T side here, but now it's just a quick feed and frenzy over in middle. One kill comes back, but it is Fnatic on 14. 30 rounds guaranteed, but still no definitive evidence to say one team's going to win it over the other. Attack called by Saw is now they're the ones starting to sweat a little bit. This comeback has landed. Now it's just all about sealing the deal.
Yeah, we've already seen what these timeouts can do for Fnatic. Now we have to see that same sort of success out of Saw. They've used all 4 of theirs over in the Fnatic camp, and on a round like this, tied up 14-14 with all 30 guaranteed. We know the importance of this round. And so this is extra chances for the coaches to have their input here, and they've got to show up all on the line now.
Everybody needs to get involved. This is a full team effort, not just in the 5 players in the server, but the coaches, the analysts, the families watching at home, all cheering their own respective teams on in what could be the penultimate round. Fnatic not so stressed considering the buy will come right back out if they lose. Saw it couldn't be more of the opposite, man. Everything's been dumped into this one round, this one investment. If it goes AWOL, if it goes haywire, there's next to nothing left to stop this round from, rather this game from being taken away by Fnatic. Needs come in a little bit late in labor. Not too sure if there was a ramp smoke bloom, but I certainly thought they were going to just try to triple nade deep. Instead, though, hanging on to the HCs for now is Roy has to tuck away tail in, or rather tail tucked between his legs on 48 HP.
He's not falling off, though. Just cleared out a little bit of that ramp control here, but they don't stick around for all that long. Maybe that's a bit of a mistake. They're going to send Pepsor to just jump spot things, try and gather some information. There's no op to punish this jump spot, so they're going to need to hit some sharp shooting with the AKs if they can hear any of this taking place, but these sort of shots are near impossible to land.
Running out of space to stand on, though. Faster. Does he tear peek into this? He does, and he finds one with it. Now potentially getting spammed down. He needs his teammates' assistance. U-Jerks jumps right into the angle. It's a trade that I wouldn't argue is all that welcome for Saw, considering that's the big heavy hitter of your plays down. Uterus still scaling up in the side hall. Roy getting a bit eager to try to find this pick, but in doing so could leave himself vulnerable to a peek in from the ramp side. 2 kills come back from Saw. It's the perfect little flurry of chaos. Though Nikodov is still here and rotated in. He's blocked one of the smokes. And everybody's here to contend. Mezzy, the IGL, trying to pepper in some bullets, spamming inside the smoke, even maybe getting caught reloading, getting forced down. Nikodov's on the AWP, he'll trade it, but it's all up to him versus Story. Potential game on the line. It all boils down to 1v1 aim duel, and Story wins it. Makes up for not giving the AK to U-Jerks in the previous engagement, but instead hangs on to the AWP. In Saw now, field the only match point to be seen so far in this game.
That is unbelievable right there. Look at this play being made. Just. That is so insanely brazen. Here's the reload. Has to be the hero. Allows for that bomb to go down. I cannot believe he made that play in round 29 when his back was against the wall, when Fnatic were starting to knock on their doorstep here. Just. He delivers. And in the closer, Uter's able to finish the job there, make good on his promises.
Well, one of my predictions has finally come wrong, which was earlier today when I said, I don't think this is going to be close. I could not be more off the mark. Because even in the 30th round, it looks like this has potential to go the distance into overtime. Saw have yet to take any very straightforward initiative, instead just clearing out some of the basic spots on the map, just lining up a Molotov. Now met by a one-way. That's actually pretty sick. Forces Mezzy back to the quad pillar, and he's been here a couple of times. Flash comes back in and through, though, and Pepstor's now come on the assistance to help him out in regaining control at B steps. But now they're getting ready to split the bill, split the difference up and into the B bomb site. Just doesn't find the opening pick. Instead, it's Fnatic on the counterpart. Things could go very awry right now in middle. Again, the perfect storm brewing up. Fnatic potentially to close it out, but maybe not if Udrix gets a kill batted up like that. 2-on-2, split up. Both sides isolated like islands. Cut off from the rest of the outside world, but still they make do with it. Roy, who else to step up? But Story's right back at you. Double on the AWP. The previous round's clutcher as he misses one on the op. Knows about Mezzy's whereabouts. He tries to tuck back into the bomb site, even dunks in the Molotov, but Roman's got the kill. Bomb goes in. It's all up to Mezzy. The IGL to try to deny devastation. His Saw have a man stuck in the middle of the bomb site, but that smoke allows him to safe haven to get away. Jumping up and through, another miss is costly. It's Roman. Another 1v1. Two completely different players, but the implication still ever so much important. No kit either for Mezzy, so time is of the utmost importance as he upgrades to the AWP, but Roman's not buying it. He expects Mezzy to be faking this out, even making footsteps, peeking deep! Mezzy on the AWP! The no-scope's connected, and we're going to overtime!
Oh my god, when a hero was necessary, Mezzy steps up to the plate. There's no way he gets that no scope. There's no way he has time to defuse. Roman played it perfectly, but you just can't escape Mezzy's grasp. That is absolutely insane.
Sigh of relief from some of the Fnatic players too. You could see the emotions setting in. Nikolas took a big, deep breath after his teammate was able to clutch that out for him. Mezzy, oh, he's going to be chowdered around on their shoulders if he can win this game for them. If they end up coming back in overtime to steal this away from Saw at the final hurdle, I mean, it's all literally on Mezzy. They'll be thanking him to the moon and back. But still, man, like, what is the answer now, Saw? I feel like even though you had Map Point first, you got to say to yourselves, or you got to feel the pressure starting to weigh on you. You got this big lead coming in. They just tossed it all away.
I don't know if you got much of a better opportunity than pulling back that 4v2 that they just were able to get. So they did so much to try and close that one out. Story did so much, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day, and I wonder if that's going to come calling here so far in the first round of overtime. That certainly could be the case. Nikolas has a smoke to extinguish, and Roy is able to step out towards side hall. Completely distracted is the entirety of Sol on the location of Nikolas, and in that distraction, he's able to strike free of charge.
Oh, good angle, though, and it's a miss coming through. Nikolas, maybe it wasn't a sigh of relief, or more so a sigh of frustration. He's missed a lot of these picks that kind of costed his team a lot. And this could be another one of those rounds where it is a costly whiff, right? I mean, this is 3-on-4. Sure, it's still an advantage for Fnatic, but you could imagine the outcome instead, whereas if he had found that pick, instead of 4-on-3, it's 5-on-2. Unlosable, it would seem, for Fnatic in that situation, but now they still have a little more heavy lifting to do to clutch this one across the finish.
I don't know if this one's safe and sound at all. I feel like Sol have done such a good job of pulling back deficits here, and this is an angle that Story really should thrive in versus an angle that Roy's currently playing. Gonna try and flush out the op into the crosshair, and Story nails it. One more lies right in towards elevator, common angle to cover, but instead just getting that utility down first things first here. Now a 3v3, make it a 2-on-3, and some missed op shots from Story could be punished, but no, Roy, you won't miss twice. He'll get away with it. Story keeping things nice and contained for now.
Bomb going down, not enough angles to worry about for the AWP and Story, but still is able to isolate the fight on faster. It looks like just maybe they will have cracked through it, knowing he's been timing. Pepstor, you've got to isolate the duels, but it's all a game of buying time. Saw are right back out in front. It's Hayes' Law in full effect now. But oh boy, what a time for it to start to rear its ugly head.
And that was a beautiful pullback as well, right? We look at that one, we see the way things were going right there earlier for Fnatic. Roy stepping up with some nice opening picks, but it's not enough to pull it across the finish line. And Fnatic, they've had a lot of these rounds where things have been going so well early on, and the finish just isn't there. They got to clean things up quickly. They're running out of runway here. Sol are capitalizing in these man deficits so consistently.
I still think so much of the pressure is put on that one whiff in the middle of the site. It literally can't, it just won't get easier than that. You don't get op picks handed to you on more of a silver plate. but he just can't. He can't eat it up. He can't eat him up. He can't finish his food. Now finally, it's some better news for the Opper, but again, we've seen Fnatic throw away situations like this before, so the round is nowhere near concluded. Not too sure if that was a missed smoke or whatnot, but we'll buy them some presents to be faked out in middle and keep a couple of players on the B site right now for Fnatic.
They got to get past the sideline of Nikodals. That's first things first here. They need the utility to get past it. It's going to be tossed in very shortly. He'll hold the line. See if he gets blinded up. He is. Pops a shot off time. He doesn't connect here, so forced off towards a more passive approach, but forced off into Roy's hands here. And he can do the damage. U-Jerks, though, he continues to show up. A beautiful opener. He's looking for more, but shut down by Roy, who wants a whole lot more. He'll be held off at just one so far. He goes back for seconds, and that's where he falls.
Uterus, though, 2 chances to the equalizer. He won't let them both fumble. Again, it's all up to the IGL in the 1v2 clutch. He pulled one of these out of the hat before. And he'll have to repeat history if he wants to maintain a tie game for Fnatic. But look at Saw on the reposition. He's read all of this. Lurked up through the smoke. Here's the footsteps sprinting back to the B bomb site. And the question is, does he want to make noise and give away that he knows? But you have to at this point. 13 seconds. They have no more time to transition back out. Smoke's going to cover the cross, but he might just spam through this. One bullet lands and Muterus falls. He might even opt to just run through it to try to deny the plant. Mezzy getting ready to pop up into the smoke and even flicks around. Dude, this kid is insane.
The clutches that he's getting away with right now. He saved the game once and he saves that round right there. Again, Mezzy constantly clutching here. How much can you ask of this guy? He IGLs, he calls the shots, and he wins the clutches. I cannot believe it right now. They are consistently calling upon him, and he is answering the call every step of the way. Mezzy, what a beautiful conversion, man. That is so sharp.
And I said they'd be toting him around on their shoulders if they ended up winning the game off of that one clutch. But, I mean, now it's double time, man. This guy is putting in every single bit of effort he possibly can. Calling these insane strats. The depth is nuts. The game sense is crazy. And even the aim is on point. What can you do to stop a Fnatic team looking like this, man? I'm not too sure, but they've given up a lot of map control again. I'm pretty sure I just saw like all the way up in middle, but then backing away to recover the bomb and pick a destination.
And I think Saul are going back to what has worked the best right now. These B executes have been really promising, but what has been the thorn in their side has been Mezzy this entire half here. And he looks to be it once again spotted up on top of the box here. He finds the opening pick and he gets out of dodge like a ghost.
He goes back up too. Oh my god, dude, I was gonna say that one might be a little bit out of pocket. And it's just brought this back to a 3-on-3 again with Spam coming up into the smoke. U-Jerks catches wind of Thatcher's position. So huge is the advantage. Exchanges hands again, but they line up for Roy! And that's not a man you want to give a multi-frag. Give him an inch again, he'll take it a mile. 29 kills for the other Fnatic, or rather the other Copenhagen recruit. And it leads Fnatic up by a round going into their T side once again. They exchange sides. But I wonder where this will take us.
Oh boy, man, this back and forth, it could not be more explosive. But it's going to be a lead here for Fnatic, who have already put up decent numbers on the T side. They've shown some strength here, but the same is true for Saul. They've been able to lock things down. In fact, once those rifles were consistently coming up, that was where the damage was done here. So maybe one is enough to continue to work things out, or maybe we're going to continue to see Mezzy's rise in form in this map. Help them claw things out.
Fnatic, again, this just builds them that safety net of not having to play in this next round to try to secure themselves their playoff spot. Remember, again, I will keep telling you this until you get it through your heads. They win this game, and they're in. You'll see them in the arena. They'll be in the quarterfinals. Still not necessarily knowing the opponent between Big and Ents just yet, but still, you'll be guaranteed to be there. So, again, fighting against that, fighting for their own tournament life and tournament birth. U-Jerks is the one putting up the biggest fight of the bunch. Another ramp kill from the man himself. No surprise for me to tell you that, though. Fnatic, man, this is off limits. You just got to test the waters elsewhere, bro. Even if it's stacked up, I still think it's worth it more to go that way.
Yeah, you can't test U-Jerks. He has been an absolute wall, a barrier on this side hall position that you just cannot pass. And movable as he goes on the aggression. And like you said, it might just force their hand consistently on these P-side plays. They've got to be incredibly fearful of U-Jerk's positioning and his ability to punish any sort of ramp aggression. Honestly, alone for many of these occasions here. They're going to try this ramp, or rather B control here, where 3 players are close by.
Tricky to win, though, is just aggressive positioning probably won't be clear, and they don't have a molly to deal with him either. Yeah, this is just Farmsville right now for Saw. An easy sweep of a CT round. Nikados even missing an op shot, giving away the position. Dink comes through. He'll land one on a Muterus. But anything more is a bit overkill as we tie it right back up. Saw are still neck and neck.
Back and forth, but this is a big tie for Saul. This is exactly what they were hoping for. They get the ball moving quickly on the CT side to start delivering. And they've got some of the win conditions that we talk about here. U-Jerks, he's continuing to do the damage, ever present, always in your face, and controlling one of the most important parts of the map right now in Vertigo. This time, though, he's taking a more passive approach here, but Roman, he steps up, but Roy, how does he get away with that opening? Straight through the smoke, able to punish Roman for sticking around a little bit too long.
Again, you're not going to get handed openers like this every day. You need to be able to capitalize on this round, or else if you lose this 4-on-5, it's like, what else do you have going for yourselves? Well, slowing it down, I kind of do like this, and even rerouting, you do not want to test U-Jerks in this situation. Every single time this guy answers back. And they're just going to go for a B crunch again, this time with the advantage. And a lot more utility to use up as well, but Muterus shuts it down as quickly as it was back in play. The bomb spotted in middle, and now they're going to position up against this. It's recoverable, and I think they understand that, so they don't hard commit to it. Instead, just backing down into the B bomb site instead. Try to assist the defense there. The timer's going to run thin here shortly. You got to make your move with only 1 flashbang, too.
Listen, ideal here. Good news is they do have some decent ground. Nikados claiming a lot of space, covering a lot of ground with his op tucked in towards sandbags. So you could have some sense of line of sight on this elevator position. He could allow for his teammates to scale up. Move on in. Slowly but surely. Start to test the waters here. 20 seconds left on the round. And I wonder if that's going to trigger some execution from Saul to try and go proactive. Right now, the molly's on top of the site, so they can't plant.
Even flashing in, yeah, they literally can't. I told you, man, the timer's going to get the better of them here, and they find no kills past that 1 right opener. They find 1 lucky kill through a smoke. Then it's all Saw. They just get steamrolled, and now, again, the emotions high for Saw and the pressure high for Fnatic. Another match point for Saw, this time on the flip side of things, the CT's perspective, where they had a very clean, convincing half in the first. Fnatic have to show up big just to hold on.
This is scary territory here for Fnatic. Again, they have more opportunities to try and solidify their playoff berth, but this could be shut down. Saul can continue to show up. Just 1 more round required. U-Jerk's in his prime location here. He's going to dive through the smoke like he always does, but Roy gets it again. At the very least, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but we've seen these go sour for Fnatic already.
It goes both ways, man. But I'm not a fan of the utility usage coming through from Fnatic, considering how proactive Saw have been around the map. Even when they've been forced off of these aggressive angles, they haven't been shying away from going in for flash repeaks, initiative to figure out what's going on. So that's just essentially a Molotov wasted that could have instead been used for an A-site take. Now you've only got the 1. It's been thrown in. There's still counter utility you have to go through. Absor delivers back some good news. Doubling down. Again, the Young Stars saved them. Oh, man. Clutches and multi-kills from Fnatic come, I'd say, few and far between, but when they do get delivered, it's huge. 1 comes back through a smoke. There's still a smoke to be thrown to the CT side of zone. They're even just going to stick it. Opting to go for the full 5-second defuse that they cover in the side hall. It'll be the game, and even inches away from finding that defusal. You were scared just about as much as I was. Milliseconds off it. But again, Fnatic hang on. It's double overtime.
We play on here. We get more action between these 2 teams. And Nikados, you can see he's a little bit frustrated here as he's been in some tough positions, missing some critical shots that he needs to be connecting on. And I think that frustration is evident. I mean, it's written all over his face. But luckily, this super stand-in, as we've been calling him, and as he has been showing, shows up for 1 more round to let Fnatic continue to fight.
Well, lot of that dog left in him. Fnatic aren't ready to give up just yet. Surprisingly enough, too, it comes off the back of a 1-for-1 trade on you jerks. Coincidence? I think not, man. I really think the key for Fnatic on this T side is going to be about dealing with him. And so many times it's just on the... Oh, barrel spotted Nikados through the scaffolding's got him. Basher another on the board, too. The trade's inbound at B, but who cares? Both of the big boys for Assault are now taken out of the equation. The two top fraggers are out. Story, Muterus, Roman, while they haven't been subsiding away from their own star moments, still been few and far between the times we've seen them. Now they've got to pull it out of the hat.
Roman trying to wield the one way, but it's a risky game here. You can't stick around for too long because there's 4 players looking to turn the corner here, and no more peaks take place. But that's a great way to turn that frown upside down if you're Nikados. Can he find anything more here around the corner there? Roy finally going to go down. So rare to see him not have impact on the A entry, but this occasion, he gets quieted down to 0.
Still a man on the A side's guard, though, with Story, but with the AWP falling as quickly as it does, I really don't think there's going to be much more left to this round. Unless Muterus has got some crazy stuff to show us, I really think Fnatic are going to be taking the lead for the first time in a while. I guess they did have one going in from the CT's perspective, but hold on a second. Muterus is ready to make that magic happen as he peeks into the side hall. Pepsor is just too good to be dealt with. And it falls onto the lonely 1 HP Roman, not even getting ready to clear out the sandbags with a barrel of Mezzi spotted. He's just trying to buy time for Pepsor's assistance. Rotating back in and through, there's no reason for either one of these players to peek. I mean, they don't have utility left on the CT side. They even both swing it together. As soon as he tops it, it's a perfectly coordinated affair from Fnatic to take the lead back and maybe even extend on that.
Brilliant work done right there. Great jobs committed, even when Roy unable to find some of that impact. Pepsor, he continues to show up. I mean, that's the off that he had to face off against, man. The odds of him winning that fight are slim to none, but then in the closing stages, playing his cards right as well, showing that experience, right? And what a great player to add to the arsenal here, even as a sub. It's so impactful what he's been delivering here to keep them alive.
Pasher again, too, with an opener on B. It seems like he's cracked the code on the opposite end of the map. Even forcing a couple of rotations single-handedly. You spoke of these 4 players last round, sitting idly by around the corner. They're going to do it again. It worked out so well. Why not try rinsing and repeating? Story on the EWP, and I'd say a fairly aggressive yet passive angle. Not necessarily one you're going to clear off the rip, but Pepsor still gives it the idea, or rather, the benefit of doubt. Unfortunately enough, it's an alt versus an AK, and usually that duel is pretty predictable. As they now are forced back deeper into the ramp side, they leave the A defense's sole responsibility to Story.
And trusting a whole lot in him, but one thing we've talked about, the issues here from Fnatic, is their lack of ability to group up in these 4-on-4s. They've taken fights on so many different fronts. Right now, Basher is joined up by 4 teammates close behind him, and he could just do the damage.
Oh no, even crunching in, Basher doubles up on the entry, maybe even gives his life up a little too cautiously, or incautiously. But they still hold on to a man advantage again with no utility left to go for the counterpart. They've got to go in for a raw retake with an op and an M4. Let me tell you right now, it's not going to be Story doing most of the heavy lifting this round. It's got to be Nika, or rather, it's got to be you jerks. Him spotted around the headshot angle too. He's perfectly isolating kills around this smoke. Mezzi is left on his own again. So many overpeaks come through from both of the players on Fnatic. In fact, I'd argue everybody, honestly. Tapping the bomb too. Mezzi not yet giving up the peak. You jerks foot spotted, and of course, it's him to clean up the round with every single kill for Saw.
I can't believe that they gave that one up right there, right? Again, this is going to extend a little bit of that frustration I was talking about. Nikados having himself a little bit of a struggling game here, and making a play like that, right, where you know the round is in the palm of your hands. You got yourself a 2-on-3 post-play advantage here. You're having some impact in this round. You're landing some nice shots, but you can see caught in no man's land. Ujerk's not going to let you get away with these sort of plays. He's far too wise to that.
So apparently he's not just the ramp ruler. This guy's a jack of all trades. You look at him anywhere around the map, and he's got what it takes to farm you at any single avenue. It's not really surprising, though. Again, this guy is absolutely insane. And now he decided to be the ruler of middle. This guy is going everywhere, man.
I mean, if you're playing as well as he is, I think you just got to. You have to be a player that's going to take initiative, be ever present, be in the faces of Fnatic at every avenue. And if you're going to do that, Maybe that's the extra edge that Saw need to call upon, but Roy is given extra edge every last round on this A bomb set, it feels like, finding so many opening picks, and that's another one to add to the tally. Bomb already being planted as well.
U-Jerk skipped at a free kill, but a 1-for-1 really not what they were anticipating. Now it's a bit of a mowdown from Fnatic. Convincing this time, and they won't be giving up any over peaks. Just it's a retake. You have to. There's no reason not to. And with a full belt of utility, maybe he can cause some shenanigans, right? Smoke atop the bomb, molly deep. Nah, Nikodas ain't gonna have any of it. 20 rounds for Fnatic. And, you know, usually the struggle for Fnatic in this game has been the T side, the lacking depth in it. Remember, the first half, they only got 6 rounds. The first overtime half, it took them till the very end to get 1. Maybe with this, they can push it across the finish line. They squeak over to the CT side, arguably, well, actually not even arguably, just convincingly the stronger of the two, with an advantage.
Yeah, this has to be the way that Fnatic closes now. Again, if you take into consideration the opportunity of closing out that 2v3, Fnatic, they realistically could have swept this half. It's not the end of the world that they have it. They still won it. They've redeemed themselves in the very next round, thanks to Roy's opening. We got to make good on it. The CT side has to be perfect. Got to close things out. Move on up here.
Right, we've seen Saw with their fair share of series points now. Fnatic are going to try to throw their hat in the ring for one of their own. They've been playing from the back burner, it feels like, ever since it was 14 all. So this is their first chance to get within striking distance of finally taking this long, hard-fought map away from Saw. Flash goes over the wooden boxes, and Nikodas shows face with the AWP, but he won't commit. Instead, falls away, again, to a more passive angle, but with his team around him, this still seems like an unbreakable line of defense.
Yeah, again, taking this aggressive angle that's just enough to not get caught off guard here, but the utility could catch him. He's actually able to avoid that initial flashbang, but the smokes that get recycled are to force their hand. Are they going to push through this? There's seemingly a one-way that they can crawl up the side hole with, and that could completely blindside all of Fnatic.
And now, Roy is just giving him all this calls. Oh my lord, Nikodas is caught straight into the open, but he's going to be able to back away into the bomb site. All the info grabbed over and given to Fnatic. But the take is imminent. A couple of Molotovs thrown into it. One smoke to... Rather, I'm surprised they actually had 2. I thought I only saw 1, but not a lot of utility to seal the deal is my main point. Leaves a lot of pressure onto the individuals of Fnatic again. Another molly extinguishes over in the elevator side. Oh my god! Nikodas through a smoke has made magic happen, and on 1 HP, it's another Mezzy clutch, this time to give them that point.
And I don't even know if Nikodas has realized what he's just done. Mezzy, again, another 1v2 to close things out, but I cannot believe my eyes, man. It seems like it was just meant to be for Fnatic right now. Landing that shot, claiming themselves series point, and honestly, what very well could be playoff contention point to boot.
Now
again, more reasons to smile.
Again, we haven't seen them in this spot before. They haven't been in this boat the entire game. It's always been Saw striking first. Finally, they've changed around the story at the very, very last whimper. Inches away from that securing playoff berth. Still, the moral of the story this entire game was for Fnatic. And now only 5 kills away from securing it.
V1v2s and one lonely Mezzy on this B-bomb site here. An absolute rock. A steady hand here for Fnatic. Consistently delivering, and now it's just going to be a suffocatingly slow round here from Saul. Looking to make no mistake, they're running up towards side hall actually. This A side continues to be a target in Fasher. Target practice here from Uterus, who's going to find the opening pick towards middle.
3 on 5. Again, you know where so many of the individuals are for Saw. In fact, you even got some trapped in corners, man. But it's the kills not coming through that's really going to start costing you in the long run. Nikodas, Pepzor, and Roy. The last lines of defense on this round. They'll still have another fighting chance in the next, but you really want to let it rely on that. I'm not all that certain. Behind the smoke, Muterus will fall, so we go back within striking distance, though. Nikodas, that's not an equivalent trade. Of course, you're going to go for it. Why the hell not? You spot his feet. Roy's got another kill added up. Even inside of the smoke, you spotted another Roman. A lucky break, and Story's got his boys back again. It's a setup that amounts Saw 20 rounds and puts them back in 1 round's distance from Fnatic.
Man, oh man, a chance to go again. Right now, right here. Again, it's been a long time since Fnatic have been on the upper foot, but another opportunity. They've given themselves, they've granted themselves 2 chances, right? They can afford a couple risks here and there. They get punished. Now you have to buckle down. You have to close out here. You had such an incredible T side half. It's hard to replicate that same success. It's hard to replicate some of these rounds that they're even getting away with on the CT side. So just getting the job done, it would be a huge sigh of relief.
And they've been working for it so long, so hard. Been playing since this morning, man. They were one of the first teams to get their game in. So it just puts all the much more importance on not making the first mistake in a round like this. Nobody wants to be the one to give over that opening kill. Behind the smoke, though, lies a couple of eager T's trying to find an opener of their own. They have been abusing this smoke to perfection the entire game. And getting away with it, too. Jumping around, Roy doing it again could cost you your life, but no, they don't actually commit. Instead, it's Faster committing to the opening duel, even getting pushed down in the ramp side. It's a trade 1-for-1. And Story's miss might be the biggest costly whip of the game. Nikodos shows face, but instead of committing, just backs away again. They want to set up this crossfire. They want to just set themselves up on the defense. But walking back in would not be the most optimal of ideas to give away a pick here. So instead, tucks back. Roy peeks in. Uterus with the bomb on his backspin dropped. It's just in the 1 versus 3. Saw may have finally tapped out in this game. All it takes is 1 kill, and Fnatic finally secure their playoff spot. So desperately deserved. Nikodos. A whiff will allow him to inch back closer to the bomb, but with 20 seconds to go, he's still not recovered it. And at this point, you have to commit to A. There's no time to go around, get the bomb, and then go all the way back and into B. So
honestly, now there's no time at all.
You're right. Maybe a bit of a boneheaded play and an anticlimactic ending, but Fnatic will take that, man. Not even a pop-off, just a sigh of relief. It got scary there towards the end. Vertigo was a bit sloppy, but they do end up closing out by the skin of their teeth in overtime.